She laughed about a practice marriage, so I ended it for real. It started with a joke, a stupid, cruel joke in front of 200 people. My wife caught her sister's bouquet, and instead of laughing it off like a normal person, she lifted it in the air and announced, "Maybe I'll save this for my second marriage." The entire reception burst out laughing. Her mom nearly fell out of her chair. The bride, her own sister, looked half shocked, half amused, but my wife wasn't done. When her aunt came over to ask how we were doing, she smirked and said, "Oh, this one doesn't count. I'm just practicing for the real thing." More laughter, more nodding heads. I sat there at our table, nursing a beer, watching my wife turn our 3-year marriage into a stand-up routine. I didn't say a word, didn't flinch, just watched as the people around us laughed at my expense like it was some kind of sitcom. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't new. The little digs at dinner parties, the exaggerated eye rolls when I mentioned anniversaries, the way she'd introduce me to people like I was some side character in her story. She'd been testing the limits for years. I just hadn't noticed how far she'd gone until that moment. By the time we got home that night, she was still giggling. "Did you see everyone's faces? They thought I was hilarious," she said, tossing her shoes aside. "Yeah," I told her quietly. "You were the star of the show." She missed the tone completely. I know, right? Sometimes I surprise myself with how witty I can be. 3 days later, while I was making dinner, I overheard her talking to her college roommate on speakerphone. "No, seriously," she said. "He just sits there and takes it." I made all those jokes about practicing for my real marriage, and he didn't even react. He's nice enough, you know? Pays bills, doesn't make messes, kind of like really reliable furniture. I froze, spoon in hand. Reliable furniture. That's what I was to her. Then came the line that sealed it. Maybe the right guy will come along someday and show me what a real marriage feels like. Until then, I guess I'm stuck with my practice round. I stood there stirring pasta while my wife joked about finding someone better. The steam rose from the pot, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. The next morning, I called a family law attorney. 3 years married, no kids, 2 incomes, simple, clean break. I scheduled the filing for Friday. She'd be served by Monday. That Sunday, we had dinner at her parents' house. Her mother couldn't stop gushing. "There's our little comedian from the wedding. Everyone's still talking about your practice marriage jokes." My wife actually glowed. "Really? I thought they were pretty good." "Oh, honey, you had the whole table in stitches," her mother said. "Poor guy here didn't know what hit him." I smiled politely, helped set the table, and listened to them replay her greatest hits while I silently planned my escape Monday morning. A process server walked into her office and handed her the envelope. By the time I checked my phone, there were 17 missed calls and 12 texts waiting. When I got home that evening, she was standing in the doorway, mascara smeared, holding the paper. "What is this?" she asked. "Legal paperwork," I said, hanging up my jacket. "Why am I being served divorce papers?" "Because I filed for divorce." "Who put you up to this?" "Nobody. I made the decision myself." "But why?" "We're fine. We're happy." I looked at her. "Were you joking when you told your college friend I was like reliable furniture? Or when you told your book club you were surviving your practice marriage?" Her face went pale. "You were listening to my private conversations?" "Hard not to when you have them in our living room," I said. "But that's not the point." "Then what is the point?" she snapped. "The point," I said slowly, "is that you've spent years treating our marriage like it's temporary, like I'm some placeholder until someone better comes along. You humiliate me publicly, then act like I should laugh it off. You think being married is a joke, but I don't. So congratulations. Your rehearsal is over." She broke down crying. "I didn't mean any of it like that," she said between sobs. "Then why say it?" I asked. "Why tell everyone our marriage doesn't count? Why make me the punchline every time you open your mouth?" She didn't have an answer. 6 months later, I signed the final papers. She tried to apologize, to call, to meet for coffee, to talk it through. I declined every time. The last time I saw her was at the closing appointment. She looked smaller somehow, tired, like the laughter had drained out of her. She said quietly, "I didn't think you'd actually do it." I told her, "That's the problem. You never thought I would." Then I stood up, signed my name, and walked out.